Hi, I'm reading a story called Chatty Pod and Shy Pod in the Talk-a-Thon by Sonia Mehta. Chatty Pod was a real chatterbox. Everyone in Podville was really impressed with him. He could tell the most amazing stories. He knew some really big words that no one else did. In fact, Chatty Pod talked so much that he never gave anyone ever a chance to talk. Shy Pod had quite the opposite problem. She was very shy and could not bear to talk to anyone. When any of the pods spoke to her, she would turn red in the face and run away and hide. What no one knew was that Shy Pod was shy because she did not know too many words. You see, when she was little, she hadn't bothered to read, so she knew very few words indeed. Because of that, she was just too shy to talk to anyone. Chatty Pod, who had a very kind heart, saw how scared she was and decided that he would help her. He had a wonderful idea. The great Podville Fair was coming up. There were going to be lots of games and contests during the fair. There was the hop about contest that everyone was sure Healthy Pod would win. There was a pie eating contest that Hungry Pod was sure to win. And there was even a merry math contest that Smarty Pod would definitely win. But the contest that Chatty Pod was interested in was a Talk-a-Thon. The pod could talk for 1 full hour without stopping. All of Podville was sure that Chatty Pod would win the Talk-a-Thon because no one else could talk as much as Chatty Pod. One evening, a week before the fair, Chatty Pod went to Shy Pod's house. "Shy Pod, I have decided that you must take part in the Talk-a-Thon," he said. Shy Pod went red in the face. She couldn't even answer him. She seemed to have lost her voice. She just shook her head from side to side. No, she finally said. "I can't, I won't." But Chatty Pod just laughed. "Are you worried you won't be able to talk?" he said. "Leave it to me. I'm Podville's champion talker, and I will teach you." The pods were busy getting ready for the fair. There were lots of work to be done. Everyone had a job to do, and all of the pods walked busily around setting up stands and stalls. Some of the pods were decorating the stands with bunting, some others were making piles and piles of pie, and still others were blowing up truckloads of balloons. Everyone in the town was excited, except Shy Pod, who was really scared as the day of the fair came closer. Soon it was time for the fair. Podville looked lovely. The fair was bright and colorful. There were food tents, game huts, and merry-go-rounds, a giant wheel, and many rides. The biggest tent of all was for the contestants. The pods crowded around to see who would win the prizes in the different contests. One by one, the contests went on. Healthy Pod popped about at the top speed and won the Hop About contest. Hungry Pod ate about 50 pies at a go and won the pie eating contest. Geeky Pod and Smarty Pod shared the Merry Math contest prize. Soon, it was time for the Talk-a-Thon. Shy Pod, who had been watching all the contests from backstage, trembled with fright, but Chatty Pod was right next to her. He smiled at her kindly and said, "Just remember the secret. You will be fine." Shy Pod went onto the stage. All the pods clapped loudly. She closed her eyes and began to talk. A big silence fell. Shy Pod talked and talked and talked. The judges rang a bell to say that her time was up, but Shy Pod wouldn't stop talking. It felt like there were 1,000 words inside of her that were just tumbling out. Of course, Shy Pod won. The pods asked her the secret of how she had talked so much when she was so shy. She said shyly, "Chatty Pod taught me so many new words. He told me that the secret is that whenever I'm scared, I should close my eyes and imagine the things I love, and I wouldn't be scared anymore." From that day on, Shy Pod remained a little shy, but she always spoke to everyone. The end.